So, today I'm going to talk about a digital marketing and implementation plan for Fenty Beauty's market entry into Nigeria. And, I'll talk about this in the context of what's going on in day-to-day society and how the economy of the world within beauty is revolving. And then I will do an external audit, like a marketing audit of Nigeria, which is the target country. And then I'll do an internal marketing audit of the company itself to sort of look through the capacity to grow and the things that need to be worked on for the company to get big enough to be able to grow. Bear in mind that this is already a global company, so it could also be used in a way to allocate funds and allocate revenue towards the growth of the company. So on my lips, I have the Fenty Beauty Stunner Lip Paint. And it's in the color Undefeated. So that's what I have on my lips. And then on my cheeks and my nose, I have the Matchstick Strawberry Pop. So this one, it actually goes on clear. It goes on clear and then it warms up into a pinkish hue, and I have that on my cheeks, on my face as well. So I use their brand and their products a lot, and I love Fenty Beauty. So this is a very interesting Hi everyone, this is Remen and welcome back to my YouTube channel. I post videos when I'm inspired, just like today, I'm inspired today. So I've always enjoyed the idea of my channel being very educative, where you would learn things that you could potentially use for your assignments or for your business life, as well as for your ability to live, so also navigating emotions as well. But today I'm going down a different route, and I'm going to talk about digital marketing technology, and I'm going to use that in the context of a beauty brand, Fenty Beauty to be specific, actually breaking into the Nigerian market. Now, before I continue, I want you to see my face. Today I'm going to talk about a digital marketing and implementation plan for Fenty Beauty's market entry into Nigeria. And, I'll talk about this in the context of what's going on in day-to-day society and how the economy of the world within beauty is revolving. And then I will do an external audit, like a marketing audit of Nigeria, which is the target country. And then I'll do an internal marketing audit of the company itself to sort of look through the capacity to grow and the things that need to be worked on for the company to get big enough to be able to grow. Bear in mind that this is already a global company, so it could also be used in a way to allocate funds and allocate revenue towards the growth of the company. So we'll talk about the key success factors there, and then we'll do like a SWOT analysis, which is the strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. So these are the things, or like this is sort of the risk analysis to know what needs to be done to sort of overcome these weaknesses, and then to leverage the strengths that we've discovered. And then we'll talk about the marketing strategy. So basically, right, like the makeup industry is actually one of the fastest growing at the moment. And honestly, for a company to be able to grow within the ever-changing needs of the ecosystem, you need to be able to sort of think ahead and also do your market research on what's going on in the world to know what opportunities that you need to take advantage of for your business to be successful. So this is how companies get their competitive advantage, and this is sort of one of the key steps of innovation. If you look through the innovation framework, design thinking, you'll be able to tell that the number one thing that a person needs to do to be able to be successful is to identify an opportunity and create a solution that solves for that gap, and then they would skyrocket within their career. What Fenty Beauty then did was that they found that there was a need for people with darker skin tones to have foundation that matches their color, and then they implemented a very diverse range of colors with, at the time, I believe it was up to 40 shades that they created, and that was a record-breaking number for any company right now, or any, like, any makeup brand, because if you go to stores, you would see that they're like the color or the shades are more skewed towards the lighter skin tones, which could also be a sign of a lack of diversity within the industry as well. So I think just having that extra push from a company with potentially diverse employees and a leader that is of a diverse background as well, you would be able to take advantage of this and create something that is sustainable. That was already done, and on their launch, they launched using social media as the main form of marketing, and they then did this super innovative thing of doing influencer marketing, where the influencers are actually marketing this for you. So I could organically be on YouTube with Fenty Beauty makeup on, and I have influenced you already, or you could just be scrolling on the internet on Instagram or on TikTok, and then all of a sudden this person has this brand that they're using, Fenty Beauty, and next thing you're obsessed. So that was done, especially within the time frame of the explosion of this company, which I think was through COVID as well, where a lot of people were actually indoors and on social media and consuming a lot of content. Now, in terms of thinking about how we can then expand from social media and mainly the base of your customers being converted from social media, but also converted from the country that you are created in, which is America. Now we're thinking about how we can break through to other communities where breaking through like this might not necessarily be the most effective way. So if you're thinking about Nigeria now, yes, it is a very technologically advanced country when there's electricity, but there is that issue of not even having that much electricity, or just like power cuts that would make people be less reliant on having a charged phone to scroll through internet and through things, and they would rather look for other innovative ways to make money so that they can survive within that ecosystem. We're going to use a variation of the PESTEL analysis. So if you know the PESTEL analysis, it is the politics, the economic, social, technological, environmental, and legal environment of a space or geographical region or an idea, right? So this allows you to think about it more holistically from different perspectives. But we're using a variation of this called the DESTEP analysis, which I think is mainly used within marketing. And the difference is that the difference between the PESTEL analysis and the DESTEP analysis is that the DESTEP analysis allows you to look at the demographics, the economic, the social, technological, and the environmental and political aspects, and this helps when you're actually trying to break into an area so that you can market. So I think it's important to take this step because the environment in all of these elements for a continent like North America in comparison to a continent like Africa And then if we're comparing a specific city, so like trying to break into Nigeria, because again, all the countries in Africa have different ecosystems, but to be able to break into Nigeria, you need to understand what it's like to live there and to be there on ground. So the demographics of Nigeria, if we go into the demographics, basically 50% of Nigerians are under the age of 20, and 72% of that under the age of 40. So in total, if we're also then looking at the demographic of females, we would say about 49 points, roughly 50% of the total population of Nigeria is female. You know, 49% of the total population in Nigeria, they're female, right? So a marketing strategy, I think, targeting them would be great. And then if you're thinking about the revenue aspect, I don't think you really need to worry there. Although Nigeria is the 27th largest economy in terms of GDP and the 24th largest by purchasing power parity, which means that you know, although the gap between the rich and the poor exists, the people who have money and who are potentially earning in foreign currencies but living in Nigeria, they purchase a lot. So there is still a big gap for that. And socially, about 52% of Nigerians have access to Facebook, 27% to Twitter, and you know, it's actually only 6.4% of Nigerians have access to Instagram. So this could also be a reason why just targeting Instagram or using only Instagram influencers might make it harder to penetrate this economy. So I think maybe targeting Facebook, if you're still going from a digital perspective, and you know, using Facebook influencers within that same age range, and then you would convert people within the within that higher purchasing power, who have access to the internet and have the ability to spend on products. Technologically, 46% of the total economy actually has access to the internet. So what this would then mean is that you'd be doing all of this just to target about 46% of the local economy, which is potentially why there would be a need for you to create something that stands on the ground, like a Fenty beauty store. So now we've gotten certain ideas, which I think are a great starting point for implementing something in Nigeria. I'll give an example of a company that I see the stores in Nigeria. So, not to compare, right? But MAC Cosmetics in Port Harcourt, Nigeria, which is the city I'm from, which is in the south of Nigeria, there is a MAC store in 2 malls. So in Port Harcourt Mall, which is where ShopRite is, there's also a MAC store in there. And in Spar Mall, which is an old GRA, there's a MAC store there. So I've always wondered how they might have been able to connect with local companies that would be able to manage the project of implementing these stores on ground. And although when you go into their stores, you would see that you know, the prices in Nigeria, although are significantly, well, not too, like, the difference is not too much in terms of how much they are sold in foreign currencies, but it is still at that upper limit that gives the brand the eliteness that it has and the feeling of wealth when using this product, which is something that I think definitely needs to be maintained across all ecosystems in which it goes into, because that then makes it some sort of status symbol to be able to utilize this product within the local economy. And I think that's something that has been solidified within the online marketing campaigns, with the pricing of it as well. It is very affordable, but it's still good quality. And to be able to get that affordability and good quality in Africa to the people, or to the market, who are the skin tone that you are marketing to, who will get the most utility out of it and who would scream the most praises out of it. I think taking that extra step to allocate resources into doing this groundwork and putting something solid in place in cities in Nigeria would make a company like Fenty Beauty just skyrocket. They could even do vending machines, which is something that I've seen a different company do. I know that NARS and Olay have had vending machines in specific places, and then this then gives that awareness of the brand as well, and like local marketing campaigns like billboards, and then using local influencers as well. So you would see someone like a Toke Makinwa, which is a Nigerian influencer, on a billboard with Fenty Beauty on her face, and it's just, you just want to buy it. So these are the ways that you can test these ideas, and just be available to Nigeria. So thank you so much for listening to my video essay where I spoke about how Fenty Beauty can break into the Nigerian market. Also listen to my music. I make music, and my music name is Remy Kitty, so you can find me on all music platforms. And thank you so much. Bye. My future you seem so bright. Turning all my dreams into real life. See my future you seem so bright. Turning all my dreams into real life. See my future you seem so bright. Turning all my dreams into real life. See my future you seem so bright. Turning all my dreams to real life.